It's like when Maysha says that thing, whatever that epiphany is, I'm like, yeah, that's right. Okay, I knew that. But it wasn't in the consciousness. It wasn't in the present. It wasn't in the forefront. It's kind of been sitting way back there in the closet, and you come out and you dust it off and you go, look at this. Is this amazing? And I look at it and go, oh, I knew that. Somewhere, I knew that already.
Well, that's because that's who we are to one another, and that's what we're supposed to do. Is we're supposed to dust those nuggets off for one another. That's
Yeah.
that's our jobs for each other, is to dust those nuggets off. That is our the I'm just going to use the seven of us. The seven of us. That's our jobs for one another, is to dust those nuggets off in different ways, and yeah. And I love that you bounce around and see most of the seven. You and I pretty much like I reach everyone.
Try to.
Yeah, and so we get that.
You all have a 3D affliction that has been with you for a very, very long time, that has limited you in your ascension journey, living your life kind of carefree, and put limits on your what you can do, what you want to do, and the like. That you and you've said this many times yourself. You do workarounds to try and get around your physical limitations, so that you can ascend. You can go to your light body. You can spend as much time in the 5D as you possibly can. So when we are looking at this, and when I look at this, I see the time that you don't take, of even if it's just awareness of being able to take care of your 3D, so your 5D can do everything that it needs to.
Oh, you are so just yeah. Once again, we have done what this is the macro or the micro again, because what I'm getting ready to say is, and what we just said before, yeah, it all fits together, because we were talking about how you started with how I say something and you knew it, but I'd bring it out and you dust it off for you. Okay. Well, once again, you identified with my health, something which I knew and have rectified in many ways beyond what you knew already, but not rectified enough, because I'm spiraling upward. And so you're bringing me to the next level of rectifying that. But the epiphany I got today, the grounding epiphany, which I've been getting over the past few days, because I've been writing and talking. I've got like 3 pages of dictated stuff on what grounding really is, and yet they're still bringing it in and bringing it in. But I think today, I think today we got there, and it was these words. Diana and Annette and I were doing our Monday
Meditations.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We never got to meditation. Diana had to go talk to you, which is great, because that's what we need to do, because that's how we get to these places. That is our process right now. But so Diana did her oracle, which was on perception. Last night, Annette and I were doing perception, which perception and perspective are yeah. So then Annette did a moonology, which was about it was about where we are at, how we have come through a difficult time, and decisions we have to make about how ambitious are we? What is it we really want to accomplish? What does that really mean? Even what do we want to accomplish? That sort of thing. And I mean, it's just coming and coming and coming, because it's not about how ambitious are we and what do we want to accomplish. It's about the fact that, were we living the right way, the way that all of this is designed? We could. There's just, ambition is not a part of it, because, and abundance is not a part of it, because it is all here. Okay. And so then I got earthed, grounded. But the book has it like everybody else is teaching it. And of course, you know what I'm going to say. Not exactly right. I'm just going to put it that way.
They don't quite have that wrong, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's maybe not how I said it off of camera, but
Right.
yeah, it needs tweaked a bit. It needs metronified.
Updating, qualifying.
It needs updated. Okay, because this is what it starts with, and this is where it is. It starts with the wrong premise, but it's the level of consciousness we've all been in. We've all been in.
Mm-hmm.
And it equates entirely to the level of consciousness we were in a few months ago when I was telling everyone, what is the desire of your hearts? That's what we've got to know, because that's the frequency they're going to attune us to. Because that's what they were telling me, because that's what we were able to understand. And then now we're all in this transition of, well, we know we want to do stuff, but we're not feeling as ambitious. And so how much energy do we have to put into it? And da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, so why do we do all this attuning to the desire of our hearts when, it's, and we're in Taran time, which is like slowing us down and all that. Well, this is why. Because that's not really what we were doing. But, and I was bitching and moaning too then about how it felt like the cat's on the roof, that story, or how the carrot and the stick thing. And I was like, and I don't like that, because that's not the way you do things. You tell people up front, you don't, but you have to do that when people aren't at the level of consciousness to get it. And so that's why it had to be that way. And so I get it looking back, but I was very frustrated at that point, because I knew that's what they were doing to us. I knew that. I knew that we were being carrot in the stick, because I said that we're putting all this energy into this. I made these comments. I bitched and moaned to Annette, like, I don't know, every night about this poor woman, how she babysits me. I'm like, this is so carrots and the stick. I know that this is not the end result, and yet here I am telling everybody, what is the desire of your heart? Because we're tuning to it, da-da-da-da-da. So they're reattuning, and I know that's not it, because they kept me in all this flux all the time. Well, now I know why, because that's not it at all. That is actually backwards because of this.
Lovely. I use that term a lot.
Oh yeah, I grew up with it. I love it. The challenge for all souls having a human experience is to be in the world but not of it. To realize they are souls having a human experience and to be fully conscious of it. To be their soul fully, to have their soul fully embody their body. Well, they got most of that right, but they got the key part wrong. They fragmented us. And we've been fragmenting us, which is what the ego did. The ego fragmented us even more, because we knew that the ego said, hold on a second, we don't want this stuff up here telling us what to do, because we think it's robbing us of our free will, and there's other stuff we want to do. So cut that out. We want to fragment ourselves off, and we want to be in charge. And so, yeah, I know. I feel it. So we knew that. So we knew we needed to integrate with our higher self. So we fragmented ourselves some more. And we're like, okay, so we have this soul, and we have above and below, as above as below. And so we got to be grounded into the earth experience, and just kind of also be able to connect, though, but not get up there and float around in the ethereal. That's what we've been telling ourselves that grounding is. Not so. Because we are not a soul having a human experience. There is no fragmentation. We are one freaking period. We are a light body, a column of light. And we weren't finding the desire of our hearts, and they were going to reattune everything so we could have it. We have been steadily coming up into frequency and up into frequency and up into frequency. So more and more of who and what we are could be coming into us, so we could let the desire of our hearts fill us more and more. So we could then be totally grounded, because we were invited here by Earth, at least this light body is able to do. It's omnipresent. And so one of the things it's doing, not a part of it, not the soul, is fragmenting itself and doing the earth experience. Just one of the things this whole light body can do is have an earth experience. One of the things this omnipresent light body can do is have the tactile experience in this body. But this body doesn't have to be grounded because it is of this earth.
Of this
it is
earth.
the physical vessel of this earth invited to this planet. Because the answer to all things on this planet are found in the secrets of nature on this planet. And this body is the secret of nature, just like the trees and the da-da-da-da-da. That is light ray 5, by the way, of our physical light ray that we are. Light ray 5. So anyway, that is the part we've had wrong. We have been fragmenting ourselves and, well, we're a soul. And then when we die, the soul goes back. No, we are a light being. And the higher and higher the frequency of the planet goes, the more and more we are able to embody that light, and the more and more of what we have come here to do, which is the desire of our heart, which is as above, as below, the desire of the whole light being, what the light being all the way up as far as it goes, wants to do all the way down as far as we go. All the way. It wants to ground, and to ground means we are here, fully here, taking it all in, letting it all come in, letting all these light rays come in. We know what they are. I've got them here, and they're giving me more and more of what they mean. A lot of them I already had, and it is super damn cool. But they're giving me more and more of what they mean, so we can use it as a grounding meditation, so we can get more and more of what those mean. And then we live at the energetic bandwidth, at the energetic pace, to be doing each one of those fully, wholly, and completely at that given moment, so we stay healthy in this body. The heavy lifting doing, the higher energies of us is doing. The fun doing, the part that makes us feel accomplished, the part that's fun, the part that we want to do, the part that the human of us is like, whoop, that lights me up. I want to do it. That feels good. Oh, that was kind of hard, but it still makes me feel good to do it. All of that stuff. That's what we do. But we do it at the pace that keeps us healthy, happy, whole, and complete. And we happily release and let go and move on and progress from one thing to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing, because we are doing it at the highest vibrational frequency that we can. We are living in unconditional love, which, by the way, is Akasa, the only part of Akasha where there is sound. Thus, it's where creation was spoken into existence. Today, it's when with conscious choice, we use our voices and expand consciousness as co-creators. Akasa living is for vocalization. The whole universe is Akasa. It was spoken into being. Idea, story, information, motivation, inspiration, and transformational exchange. Someone to speak, someone to hear, someone to respond. Universal love communicates in self and mutual respect, showing compassion, giving rise to passion, raising the vibrational frequency of all. More and more and more and more. So we hold more and more and more and more, and we go on and on and on, self-perpetuating, spiraling up all the time. And we don't erase the past, the lessons we learned in the denseness, the expansion we did before. But we are so high vibrational that when we get the hits, when we revisit it, and we will, we are all so high vibrational that instead of in the past where, oops, somebody got a hit and we all came back down into the denseness, we are so high vibrational there's a disturbance in the force. No. Come on, come with us. We stay up here. We don't have to go to those denser energies. We don't need to visit that. Been there, bought that, got the t-shirt. Let's stay up here. And that is what grounding is. That is what we are to do. And Akasa, they showed me this back when I was in Washington, that Akasha, the true use of the records is you go in and the masters come and they came in. It was like a university where you're down on the stage getting ready to speak, and so all these masters came in and they had all these books, and it was like speak, and every time I had a thought, they opened another book, and it was like a light ray went this way and a light ray went that way, and they were showing me all these choices. When we meet there in oneness and we decide in oneness, we coordinate. Akasa is where we speak all of this into existence, where we together, someone speaks, someone hears, someone responds. We coordinate. So together, in high vibrational frequency, we expand consciousness instead of in the denseness of uncoordinated, without conscious, but we're doing it high vibrationally as one, which is why all of us meet like we do. We all meet and we bounce all this off each other, and then it circles back around. And as you say, wait, I knew that. You're dusting the cobwebs off of it because it's already there. That's what we're doing. We're coming back up into the frequency because we are all one, but we are also everything that is out there that is also within us. This is as I said this with Stay Home and Come With Me, that I wanted everyone to spiral up, not spiral down. And that it was a journey without. It was a journey of experiencing everything out there to inspire and motivate and cause us to recreate. But we were recreating to transform or to recreate. And to do that, it had to also be a journey within. That's because we are here to feel, be, and experience everything without, but we have to have everything within too. And it has to start within self-respect. But each of us in our self-respect, in our uniqueness, coming here to do the one thing we came here to do, be us. We do so out of mutual respect because that's how we all have the heaven on earth experience that the light bodies came here to have. Because that is light ray 9, a rainbow of light that Metatron's golden orange then comes through and purifies your aura so that nothing remains but unconditional love, so that you are here to do your service. And your service is to be the unique you, because the unique you being you is how everyone else gets their experience too. And we continue this self-perpetuating, spiraling upward existence for the entire universe, which is Akasa. And that is what we ground into. We ground these light rays into this physical being, the whole thing. And we live at a pace energetically that keeps this vessel healthy. Changing our water consumption, changing our food consumption, changing our exercise, changing everything. Because we don't have to do it dog eat dog. We don't have to do it as fast as possible because abundance is not what we were told. And just as it's taking us a bit of time to flip the vibrational frequency to get here, it's going to take a bit of time to flip the world to where abundance is those things so we can slow down and live that way. But look how fast we are doing it with the vibrational frequency. We're going to do the same with the world and with abundance. Because we are making it so. Simply with our intention and the fact that we will have it no other way.
This is an incredible way of expressing your entire meaning, philosophy, understanding of everything. It comes and it's coming, it's coming, and it's be very, very concise. Of
And
you were
thank
out.
you for that, for the help with that. Thank you. Thank you for the time you've put into me, for listening, for the dusting off of my parts and pieces, and thank you. And to Patty too.
It's my job. It's my job.
I mean, yes,
And
it is, but thank you nonetheless for your doing your service.
I'm finding
Absolutely.
period.
Each of us doing that is the micro to the macro.
Macro again.
Doing it. Yeah.
Exactly. So what I'm finding, and Diana had said when we were talking, that must take an awful lot out of you. And I said, no, it really doesn't. And she said, well, how come? It's because I said, it's not my energy. It's not it's not depleting me. I'm channeling. I'm allowing. I'm focusing. I'm forming it, pinpointing it, doing, if we will, energetic surgery, and to be able to do that. And I am, I don't want to, higher vibrational, the vibration that happens, the energy that happens, all of that, it brings me to a different level, also a deeper understanding, closer to my cats.
I love your cats. Your cats come to see me. I love your cats.
They do.
Though I'm allergic, this is my cat fix.
This is how you can do it without having to please.
Yeah. So it's my cat fix.
So in doing this, my ideal clients have become practitioners, those of an elevated level of understanding, of trust. When you have to battle with a client, you have to kind of sort of battle through their not understanding, or their mistrust, or their not complete trust, or their doubt, in order to get to where you need to get to help them. That's a lot of energy, and that becomes depletion for me.
Yes.
And when I'm dealing with healers and mediums and people who have a high consciousness and awareness, when I work with them, because they're doing half the lifting.
You don't have to do it.
I don't have to do all the lifting, and for me to kind of sculpt it and turn it and dig and see what needs to be done becomes almost effortless, because of allowing, and for them because of their understanding. And that for me is my epiphany this week, is that I can do that. I always thought that those who floated in 5D forever and stayed there were omnipotent, omnipresent, and could see all. And what I'm finding is that nobody can see everything.
Nobody, because not even the creator itself saw that, because the very fact that the creator said, I want to be, feel, and experience everything. If they could look ahead and see what they were going to be, feel, and experience, then what was the point? What did you tell me about how you want to go to new places all the time instead of going to the old ones?
I want to experience the new. I want to see everything. I don't go to the same place because I want to experience something new. I want to experience something that's different. I want to understand it.
You don't know what's going to happen, do you?
And you don't ever know what's going to happen. You may not like it, but it's an experience. It doesn't make it negative. It just means, I don't prefer that.
So this notion that we have, that God knows what's going to happen before it happens is because we do reverse engineer a great deal. We reverse engineer from this standpoint. In oneness, we who are incarnate at a certain period of time have up until now. And once we figure this out and we get back to living forever like we're supposed to, I don't know how it's going to work. I'm not quite sure. But up until now, what we have done is we've gathered together at Akesa and we have written a story ahead of time to try to hold everything into vibrational frequency and make the damn thing play out right. And we've botched it up beautifully every time because we haven't stayed in vibrational frequency, because the planet's been, because of the butterfly effect, et cetera, all the stuff we've talked about. But that's why there was this notion that God knew everything and everything was perfectly planned, except, well, it was, and God did, because it was already written. But that's because it had to be to hold everything into vibrational frequency. But first, we had to conceive it. We had to conceptualize it. And so that was the expansion of consciousness. We met in Akesa. It was for vocalization, the idea, the story, the information, motivation, inspiration, transformational exchange, someone to speak, someone to hear, someone to respond, universal love, communicating in self-respect and mutual respect. So we all got together, talked it over, and decided, yeah, let's all go do that together. So that's where the notion came from, that God knew everything and controlled it all. But then we would get down here and get out of frequency, and it didn't happen that way. And so the notion that God could then just look down and pluck us around and make it all happen that way, it's divine will, no. We had to open up to and allow all of each one of us to come through and do that. And for each one of us that didn't do that, for each one of us that was like this or cut off like this or whatever, it was the struggle. That's why everything has been so dense and so hard. So, but then each time that we're going to do that, each time that we all meet together and decide this stuff, that's all brand new. This co-creation part, that's you and your, I don't want to go to the same place. I don't want to do the same thing. So no, God didn't know. God didn't know. God was this beautiful unconditional love frequency that said, I want to feel, be, and experience everything. I don't know what that is. And so God didn't know. We all got together and said, oh, let's do this stuff. And we reverse engineered it, and God didn't know. And so now we know, and we're fixing the things we knew, and we're and spiraling upward, and we're going to stay in these frequencies so it keeps getting better and better. But that's why we have to be in those frequencies so we can, there's a disturbance in the force. No, let's don't go there, because we still want to be, feel, and experience new things, but we want to feel the disturbance in the force so we don't go back down and experience things that aren't so great, because we know. Because as I've said, we don't have to experience the dark to know the light. That is a myth, because we know the dark is there, and therefore we know we are light. We know we're light. We know that. We don't have to experience the bad to know we've got it good. We know it's good. We want to feel. Oh yeah. We want to feel good, gooder, and gooder than that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gooder. Yes, exactly.
So, this is what I've decided about the nonprofit. It is a place where everyone comes in whatever state they are in at any given time, because we need change anyway, because that's what life is. And so everybody just simply shows up as whatever they're doing, whenever they're doing it. And there is no set, okay, Scott, this is your role, this is who you are, because Scott, you are always changing, et cetera, et cetera. So the nonprofit is the place where you all come and you just be who you are, and we plug that in as we go.
There was a meme that said, I was afraid of the darkness until I realized I was the light, and the darkness was afraid of me.
Yeah. What darkness?
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts. Who you gonna call? I'm gonna call the one that's got cookies, and it's not the dark side. We got cookies over here too.
And better ones, okay? I'm just saying.
Yeah. We're making cookies without calories. That's a goal. And I'm setting the intention, and so make it so. As Picard would say, make it so.
A lot of times Patty and I love the paranormal and ghost stuff. Some of the guys don't live too far from us. They live right over the line into Rhode Island, and probably half a dozen of them seriously live 40 minutes away, and they travel all over the country and do the paranormal. But what I'm finding, and when they set it and set the story, I already know what they're going to find. Figure it out, but I already understand what's happening with the space, and it's not because I'm this brilliant ghost person, but I started to understand the soul, understanding energy, understanding, much like we talked about with surgery. There is that remembering of it being there, but it not being there. And if you give it energy, if you give a fear energy, if you give something negative within yourself energy, it makes it real. It makes it whole. It makes it stronger, and then it becomes something real. And in the same way, I think that many times they go in and they do constant meditations, and seances, and they bring the board in and everything else, and all of a sudden they're feeding this thing energy, and what was kind of nothing becomes real because there's so much energy put into it. Much like anything in our lives, that we manifest those positive things, those things that we've been talking about all along. When we put energy into that, it becomes real. An idea becomes real. So that emotion, that energy, all of that going into it makes it so. So if we think of bad things and we have a fear and we keep thinking about it and the fear keeps coming up and we keep feeding it, all of a sudden the fear is real, and all of a sudden now I have health issues. I have all of these things. In a lot of people, I've found that happens, and they don't understand the fear, and it's too big, too overwhelming when it overrides their entire system, and they don't know what to do, and so they panic, and that's fight or flight, and then it feeds more into that. So when you take that away and tell them that doesn't exist anymore for you, what do you mean? Well, it may come up, but it's not really there. That's your remembering of it. So you're going to take that energy that you gave it and you're going to put it to something else. You're going to put it to being well. You're going to put it to understanding. You're going to put it to whatever else.
You're going to redistribute it.
Redistribute it, yes.
You're going to redistribute it.
Because we haven't taken the energy, we've just transmuted, transformed, and repurposed it to go somewhere.
Right, we leave the exoskeleton of it because what was, and we created it at one time, and so we don't change what was, because that's the space-time continuum. We don't implode that. That's the exoskeleton. But all that we can pull out of it without imploding it, we pull all of that back to ourselves and we redistribute that energy. So we don't take our past and make it null and void. We don't make it non-existent. We don't rewrite it, which is what some people thought Akasha was for. Let's go in there and let's just rewrite it all. No. And they got that notion because with each new existence, we were going to Akasha and we were creating the next new one. And so they're like, well, we're rewriting the story. We were writing the story. You were taking the energy that you were. Right. You were taking the energy that you were and you were writing a new story. You weren't rewriting or recreating yourself. You were moving on and writing the next story. You were leaving the old story. You were leaving the record.
Leave the record and go forward.
Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. We didn't have to go back and do it again. You want to leave the record because if we take the record away, then yes, we will spiral back down and have to go through it again to have the record, to have the knowledge, to know not to do it again.
Yep. Oh my gosh, yes. So I've written 3 chapters now, 3 different books: Sacred Death, Save Your Life 4, Transcendent Men, and Wealth Codes with Jen Pacino. In it, I tell my story in different ways for different purposes.
Mhm.
In the same way, that's the last time I have to tell my story. I have now gone through it all. It is now my past. I appreciate it. I have gratitude for it because it is where without that, I wouldn't be here where I am right now.
Yeah.
But now I have a new story
Yeah.
because I'm writing that now. And what we had spoken about with everything going on is that over the next, this is May, end of May,
Mhm.
June, July, August, September, October, November,
Yes.
6 months from now,
Florida. Florida, here we come.
Florida, yes. But in that 6 months, my life will transform in these next 6 months. The work that I've done, the understanding that I've gotten, the places and things that you have shown me, the work that I have done with my yogi, and the blessings I have been gifted with from Lakshmi and all of the Indian goddesses that I've been doing meditations with, who they are transformative for me on an entirely different level. Um, the work that I'm doing with James, who
James.
is James,
Know who you
right?
mean.
He's the Hawaiian shaman
Yes.
who grounds in and allows me to speak in a different way to specifically to men, but in that way to be able to connect in a much better way, in a much better um, so that there is an acceptance there. If we talked about when depending on who you're speaking to, you have to change the language. The same concept, and it's just explaining. When you were talking about rehab for surgery,
It is.
it
Yeah.
was it was a sensational way of taking it and making it real for someone who's gone through that kind of energetic surgery and being able to bring it into themselves and to grow from it and not to have it come back, not to give it life, not to give it any consideration whatsoever. Understand it was there, went through it, visited it, have the t-shirt, don't want to go back, okay, and then go from there. And that's where I feel in the same way, much like you have had that, the writing for me has lifted the veil that was my past life, and being able to go beyond it now and do the true work that I was meant to really do here, on a just unbelievably elevated level that I don't even understand fully yet. Um, but I know that I can do anything that comes down the pike. I can handle it, much like yourself.
But you've always known that. I mean, we've talked about how when you would go into jobs, we've talked about your, the use of the word arrogance, and you're like, what? 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 You've always known you can handle whatever. You always knew that. This is just a different arena, so
It's
you just had to move that over to this arena.
but I didn't know if I had the tools, and now I do. Now I understand, and that's where the understanding comes in. Is when it's new, it can be a little scary. It can be a little off-putting. It can be disorienting. Um, But what I find, and you've shown me this, that there is a universal understanding all the way down the line, no matter what race we deal with. There's a universal understanding, and compassion, humility, and respect trump everything.
Yeah. Yes.
Love, universal love. When we talk about universal love, it's the component. Those are the components of it. Is those things: respect, compassion, humility. That it goes across the galaxies, across the universes, across the dimensions, across everything. And now that I know that the kind of those are the universal laws. Okay, we got this.
It's designed so beautifully. It's designed for self-perpetuation because it starts so simple. How do I want to be treated? Nobody wants to treat themselves badly. Okay, so I treat myself that way first. That's self-respect. And then the only way you get it, if you only treat yourself with it, that may work for a little bit for you, but then it gets dry and old really quickly because you've only got so much energy yourself to give yourself. And then it's like, well, this was great for a little bit, but now I'm not feeling the love anymore because it's just you and it dries up. Yeah. So that whole it's all about me thing only feels good for a little bit. And then it starts feeling really empty. So how do I want to treat me? How do I want to be treated? You treat yourself that way. And then you have got to show that same respect to everyone else and put it out. And when you do that, when everyone is doing that, how do I want to be treated? Let me treat myself that way. And then, in order to keep that feeling, let me put it out there. When everyone is doing that, that is a self-perpetuating positive energy loop that can only spiral upward. And it immediately identifies, whoa, there's a disturbance in the force. Somebody just got a ding off of the dark side. No. Everybody else is putting out up. And so nobody's spiraling downward. We just grabbed that sucker. And that disturbance in the force was just flipped back up.
A blip. Yeah, it's a blip. Okay.
It's a blip. It is the perfect system. Sacred geometry.
Truly sacred geometry.